Hello my friends and welcome back to episode 16 of my leveling guide of Fractured Online. In the last episode we unlocked all the hotspots up here in the ogre camp. And in this episode we visit Heartwood again. We've been there before in an earlier episode, we had collected the 2 hotspots and we had gotten the verdant regrowth ability. We go there for a very simple reason. There are still a lot of enemies to kill, all of which still give knowledge points. We bring them all to 100%. If we look in our book of knowledge, we see that we have brought the Wisps only to 8% and only to 12% respectively. The Sproutlings are also only at 63%. Furthermore, there are still large trees that we haven't even killed yet because they were still too strong at that time. And on top of that, there are earth elementals that we haven't killed yet either. We'll take care of all of that in today's episode. That's going to be a lot of knowledge points that we are going to get. We don't discover any hotspots today, but we will kill enemies exclusively. If you look at the map, there are 2 locations where the big trees spawn. The first location is directly east of the big hotspot in the middle. There are always 2 big trees there. The second location is south of Lord Eowyn. There's always a tree there as well. We are going to rotate back and forth between these 2 locations and kill the big trees. Such a big tree always yields 4% towards completion. We will kill 3 trees per run. They have a respawn time of 10 minutes. That means it will take you roughly 90 minutes to complete the trees. On the way to Heartwood, we'll see 1 more big tree. I noticed earlier during a test run that there's also a large tree here at my mouse pointer that we will visit first. I'm now at the location I just mentioned. First, kill all the small enemies except for the tree. You'll definitely have to kite the tree. That's easier if there are no enemies around. If you fight the big wisp, then fight the same way as you did on our first visit to Heartwood. Always keep moving and dodge the shot. You've just seen it, the shot does an extremely high amount of damage, so you definitely want to dodge it. The wisps also heal themselves regularly, which means it takes a while for the wisps to die, but eventually they do drop dead. The sproutlings on the other hand are much easier. They usually won't find their way to you, but die on the way. When eventually only the big tree is left, go to maximum distance and shoot at it. If the tree gets too close to you, just kite it behind you. The tree is very slow. If you do everything right, you won't take any damage. It can happen that the tree roots you, then just use your verdant regrowth ability to heal against it. If the tree starts to burn like mine did, that's a very good sign that there's not much left before it drops dead. Once you've looted the enemies, I'll only take the gold and valuable items, then you can move here. Directly east of the hotspot, 2 large trees await you. Once in the area, kill everything that moves and gives knowledge points. Be sure to attack the large tree only after all the other enemies around it are dead. You don't want to run into any enemies while kiting. Once all of these smaller enemies are dead, you can go for the tree. Kite it behind you and you won't get hurt. If the tree catches you with its roots, use your healing ability. After all the enemies are dead, you can loot them safely. After that, swing onto your horse. Then ride south through the bridge, south of the hotspot along to this lower rectangle. Along the way I always like to take the bear at this corner. There's a second bear waiting near the temple. Kill the bears as long as you get knowledge points from them. West of the hotspot, directly at the temple, there are several earth elementals. You want to kill these as well. As mentioned earlier, we are going to bring the earth elementals to 100% as well. That means with every turn you make from tree to tree, you run by here and kill 2 earth elementals. The elementals are a bit awkward to fight because they use uncomfortable abilities that make you jump left and right. Kite the earth elementals the same way you kited the tree. The elementals are a little more unpleasant, but not too much of a problem either. Use your bandages and your healing ability and run away from the elementals while shooting them. Make sure you don't attack the big earth elemental. It looks a bit different, but it can be easily mistaken. This comrade does a lot of damage and it can take a lot more damage. You cannot kill it yet. Instead, concentrate on the small elementals. After you have killed 2 elementals, you can continue running. Just run west until you reach this lower rectangle. When near this lower rectangle, stick to the northern path. Just follow the path and you will come to the next big tree. Get off your horse and activate your passive abilities. The tree can already be seen on the left. First kill the enemies around it before you attack the tree. Also kill the wisps to the south and to the west of the tree. You don't want to be attacked by a wisp during the fight. Once all the small enemies have been taken out, you can attack the tree. Kite the tree the same way you did with the 2 trees before. I recommend you to set a campfire near the tree. You will come to this location several times anyways. You can then use the same campfire each time to replenish your energy. Before you ride back, pick up the 1 earth elemental hiding behind the wall here. Once all the enemies are dead, run back the same way. Run under the bridge again to the 2 trees east of the hotspot. Now repeat these steps until the trees have been brought to 100%. In the course of the episode you will have brought the bears to 100%, from then on you will not have to kill any more bears. Of course, if you have accumulated enough knowledge points by killing the enemies, you can unlock talent points again. I put all the talent points into movement speed of the green branch. Once you get the earth elementals to 100%, you'll be through the worst of this episode. The earth elementals are very unpleasant to fight. However, I promise you that the next elemental types will be much easier than these earth elementals. Eventually, the trees will be done as well. From then on, you will most likely only need the greater woodland wisps. At least that's the case for me, and that's what I'm looking for at the same time now. To find the wisps, I advise you to walk around the walls from the outside. You will then very often see, as is the case here, a wisp inside the wall. You can shoot the wisp through the wall and fight it far away. Eventually, the greater woodland wisp will also be finished. You can now travel back to town. While I'm traveling back to town, let's take a look at what we've accomplished this episode, because it was indeed quite a lot. We got the brown bears to 100%, then we finished the earth elementals, we finished the sproutlings and the trends, and both types of wisps are at 100% as well. All of that really gave us a lot of knowledge points. I was able to unlock 4 talent points this episode, all of which I put into the green talent branch. The backpack looks good too, we collected a lot of money. 10,000 gold at T2 recipe, 3 spark of life, that's worth a lot in the market. And this trend up is also worth a lot of gold. It was all extremely worthwhile, and that brings us to the end of this episode. I'm going to ride up here to town now, and in the next episode we will finally unlock the protection from fire ability, which we will need once we start fighting fire elementals. Don't be afraid, the fire elementals are much easier to fight than the earth elementals. The earth elementals are the most difficult elementals of all, in my opinion at least, and we have already completed those. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked this episode, please press the like button, and if you want to see more videos in future, subscribe to my channel. Until then, be well and take care.